קבלו את המתמודד הבא. הוא רעב, הוא חולה, והוא חייב לקבל החלטה גורלית. הוא חייב להחליט, אוכל או תרופות. אין לו מספיק כסף לשניהם, והוא חייב לבחור. נראה שהוא רעב. רגע, נראה שהוא מעדיף את התרופה. זה לא משחק, זו מציאות אכזרית. קצבת זקנה דלה מאלצת אלפי זקנים לבחור בין אוכל לבין תרופות. מפלגת דור תיאבק למען העלאת קצבת הזקנה לגובה שכר מינימום. דור, כי צריך לדאוג לאבא ואמא.
There is 1 million old people in Israel. They should be protected. They should be represented by someone who can fight for them.
Harnessing political power into the pensioners' grip. That is what Gidon Reicher is all about. He had joined forces with Rafi Eitan, a former Israeli super spy, who set up an Israeli pensioner political party.
The highest pension that people in my age will get from the government, if they won't have another pension, is $1,000 a month. It's not enough. Standard of living here is very, very high. So we need a party, a strong voice to represent us, because our needs are bigger every year. When you need a doctor, when you need medicals, it's so expensive. I know many pensioners who cannot afford themselves to buy medicine to protect them even from death.
Throughout the world, including Canada, pensions do not keep up with the cost of living.
When we talk about pensions, for example...
Susan Eng is the Vice President for Advocacy at CARP, an association with a new vision of aging in Canada.
How big an issue is it in Canada to be pensioner poor?
There is a great concern now in this country that a significant minority of us will actually have a substantial drop in our retirement standard of living. And that is something that governments have a role to play in. And one of the things that we have recommended was that there should be a supplementary pension plan created over and above the systems we already have to allow people who don't have workplace pensions to actually save better for their own retirement.
To achieve something, you need political power. You don't have political power, it's very difficult. Therefore, we wanted ministry, because once you have a ministry, you are part of the government. You are part of other political parties.
The Pensioner Party tried to reach the young as well, with messages like this.
אני טלי, בת 38, אימא ל3. אני רצה כל היום בישולים, משרד, אמבטיות לילדים. ופתאום, ביום אחד, הכל התהפך. אמא שלי, שתמיד הייתה שם בשבילי, חלתה.
אלפי משפחות קורסות תחת עול הטיפול בהורים סיעודיים. מפלגת דור תיאבק למען ביטוח סיעודי חינם לבני 75 ומעלה. דור, כי צריך לדאוג לאבא ואמא.
That message worked. The Pensioner Party was elected to the Israeli parliament in 2006.
This was kind of a niche party, a trendish party that got support also from many young people. It was kind of even protest vote. They won 7 seats in the 120-seat Knesset.
Young Israelis voted for the pensioners to protest against the leading candidates for prime minister, whom they considered corrupt.
At the first minute, I saw it some kind of a joke. I didn't know them, I didn't trust them. I said to myself that as any other people in Israel, they can't do anything. But after several weeks, I saw that they are fighting for the rights of the elderly people in Israel, and they were very, very aggressive in their fight. They did the right things.
Rafi Eitan's party became a key coalition partner in the Israeli government under Prime Minister Ehud Olmert. Eitan demanded a new ministry. He became the Minister for Pension and Retiree Affairs. When we come back, the Israeli Pensioner Party faces problems.
קודם כל שתדע שבעינינו אתה נשארת טיפוס מדליק. רפי שומע אותך, רפי שומע אותך.
כן, אני שומע.
מתי אני יכול לראות אותך? יש לי סיפורים מפה ועד להודעה חדשה.
אתה יכול לראות אותי? מתי אתה רוצה?
מתי שאתה רוצה. אתה גם בשנתיים גדול ממני.
For the first time in Israel, an entire government ministry run by a retiree was focusing on pensioner problems.
אוקיי.
אוקיי, תעביר אותי לכאן.
But Eitan failed to raise pensions and improve health benefits, the core issues.
Why do you think this party failed?
We had some quarrels among ourselves, and that was a sign for the public, don't touch them.
What kind of quarrels did you have among yourselves?
Personally.
After some years, when I came as a candidate to this party, the voters said to them, go away, you are fighting one against the other, and we need people who are fighting for us, not between themselves.
The Pensioner Party lost all of its seats in the 2009 election. Rafi Eitan passed the leadership to Ephraim Lapid.
טוב, אז יש לנו עוד עבודה לפחות ל-20 שנה.
In the 2013 election, Lapid tried to get votes on the basis of opposing mandatory retirement at age 67.
Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning. Good morning.
אלפי גמלאים בישראל רוצים להמשיך ולצאת לעבודה, אבל נאלצים לפרוש. מפלגת דור תיאבק למען פרישה לגמלאות כזכות, ולא כחובה. דור, כי צריך לדאוג לאבא ואמא.
They failed to get re-elected to parliament. Rafi Eitan is pushing 90, yet he is active in raising funds for stem cell research for Israel's leading hospital, Tel HaShomer. Always a visionary, Eitan says medical breakthroughs like stem cell-based therapies will revolutionize retirement.
If I go out at 70 and I live for up to 100, that's 30 years. Somebody should feed me, should finance me. And that's a big burden on a country, and it must be planned today.
Ron is 80 years old, but that doesn't stop him from carrying on a good volley with his former student, Dudi Sela, Israel's top tennis player. Rafi Eitan believes pensioner political power must ensure Ron and millions like him maintain a quality of life for several decades. Eitan is a personal example of maintaining that quality of life. More than a half-century ago, he apprehended Adolf Eichmann, the mastermind of the Nazi extermination of 6 million Jews. Eitan's team drugged Eichmann, smuggled him out of Argentina to stand trial in Israel, where he was ultimately executed. Eitan now secures compensation for Jewish property that was seized by the Nazis. The funds help impoverished Holocaust survivor pensioners. That means trying to help Helen Segev and her friends who come out to the Europa Cafe to enjoy a weekly dance. The Gaza-Israel war is raging on. Hamas rockets are coming in.
I survived Auschwitz. I survived the worst thing that happened in the camps during those 5 years. I survived the death march from Dachau. No fear whatsoever.
Why does nothing scare you?
Not even that scares me.
Why?
No.
No, why?
Why? Because I've been through too much.
With the all clear, Helen and her friends get back to their party.
אתם יכולים לקבל זימוניות. גם כן, פרטים נוספים, תיגשו אלינו, ניתן לכם את הדף.
Next, retiree activists fight to increase pensions.
ואנחנו כאן בתוכניתנו נדודי שינה. אתם מוזמנים לטלפן אלינו 681-3344.
Gidon Reicher reaches out to retirees in his late-night show on Israel Army Radio.
פתאום עלה בדעתי שאולי אני גם כל כך מדוכאת.
אז את כל הזמן עם עצמך, המחשבות רצות. Many old people who cannot sleep at night are calling me, telling me their stories, what they feel. טוב, אז אני מכריז עלייך כידידה, וטלפנים מעת לעת ונדבר.
The war with Hamas rages on. Nighttime is hard on everyone, especially the elderly. With the failure of a national pensioner party, Gidon uses the airways to fight on for retiree rights. He takes on companies, government institutions, the courts, even the police, on behalf of pensioners. Reicher exposes scams, theft, or physical abuse. He believes the failure of the National Pensioner Party was a painful missed opportunity, and it means activists like himself must fight harder for retiree rights.
Why do they have to fight? Because they don't have people in the government to present them. No one can understand what they feel. And I ask myself, why this representative in the Knesset? They will be old someday. They have parents. Why they don't understand the needs of old people? They have certain feelings, certain dreams, and they need a party. Because the other party, all the other party are dealing with foreign affairs, politics, big dreams, but we need some party to help them, to take them up from the place that they are sitting now. And we are still waiting and even dreaming that day will come soon.
Apart from a radio show and writing columns, Reicher writes plays to make the Israeli public aware of some of the challenges facing retirees. Tonight at Israel's leading theater, the focus is on this issue of retiree dignity. The lead character is fired from his job, forced to retire. A young man spits in his face and insults him.
הוא התחיל להכות על החלום כמו משוגע. עומד מיליון צעיר וכמעט מנפץ לי את החלון. איך את מדברת אליי?
נעלבת? תגיד!
The retiree loses it. He's determined to exact revenge.
שב!
When I'm talking to young people who are looking at me like someone who is nothing now. I mean, yes, you told me about what happened before this country was established, because you're independent, but now it's different. The internet, the world is like a small village. We don't need you anymore. Sit in your home and write your memories and leave us alone. And I think they are wrong.
סיפור שהיה. נסעתי לי במכונית.
Every year I am expressing myself better than the year before. When you are old, your performance is better because you have an experience. And the young generation should admire us because we did so many things in this country, and now they are looking at us like history. It's bad. Sorry, I'm angry, but this is my thoughts, my feelings.
When we come back, Israeli pensioner activism focuses on municipal politics. It is the very young and the old who are exposed. With the all clear, the City Council meeting resumes its session. Natan Valach is the Speaker of the Council. He chairs a successful and dynamic municipal pensioner party. Valach has 3 seats in the 30-member council. He levels his 10% of the council power to make deals to protect the dignity and welfare of the elderly.
Every day, senior citizens can come to our office and get assistance in various fields. A third lives alone. About 14,000 are under the poverty line. There are extreme cases that children are violent to the parents, and in these cases, we are going to the police. The fact is that they re-elect us again and again.
This Tel Aviv Pensioners Social Center is one reason for the party's popularity. Membership fee is just $3 a month.
יש בנק השקעות מוביל בעולם שנקרא גולדמן זאקס.
Retirees learn how to protect their hard-earned savings in e-trading on the stock market. But what is truly unique here is the need for pensioners to deal with wars.
שרון, בואי הנה. שרון. עוד 5 דקות אנחנו נצא. אל תצא, יש קלפים עד עכשיו, ויש רסיסים, וכנראה קלעים.
Most of Israel's pensioners know how to cope with this reality.
אבל אני אף פעם לא פחדתי.
But sometimes it brings back difficult emotional flashbacks.
קשה לי לעבור את זה בקיצור.
Yael lost her husband 41 years ago during the Yom Kippur War.
היה שם קרב מאוד קשה. עולה לי כל הזיכרונות, אני זוכרת, חושבת על ההורים המסכנים האלה, מה הם עוברים עכשיו. וזה קשה.
The Pensioner Party movement also holds a seat on the Haifa Municipal Council, Israel's third largest city.
אני רוצה לומר משהו בנושא הזה.
Eli Lando fights for pensioner rights on the city council.
יונה, אני מציע לך שיהיה חבר מועצה בתוך הוועדה הזאת.
Israel's election system is proportional. That means a voter casts their ballot directly for a party, not a candidate. Pensioners here put that municipal ballot towards the pensioner party. Eli Lando uses that proportional system to enhance his power base. He summoned a meeting of the Haifa Pensioner Party.
אדוני היושב-ראש, בבקשה, קבל פיקוד.
They want the city council to approve more community and health centers and more activities and care for Holocaust survivors.
First of all, we have here in our city 19 clubs for senior citizens. I got more money for all the activities that we make in those clubs. If I will not be there, we don't get the money for all those clubs. We get less money.
Это понятно. Хороший беседер, хорошо.
One of Lando's greatest challenges are impoverished elderly immigrants from the former Soviet Union. According to Israeli law, any Jew can immigrate to Israel. These elderly Russian immigrants never had the opportunity to save for a state pension. They also never paid into an Israeli pension, and so they get a subsistence pension of less than $1,000 a month per couple. That puts them well below the poverty line.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
What are your thoughts about those parties?
I'm helping Natan Volach on one hand and Eli Landau on the other hand, because they are part of us. They are doing beautiful work for the old people.
מה שלומך, קודם כל?
If we take Tel Aviv, they established a college special for retired people.
I forgot to check that you are present, so we shall do it now. You did.
They have a lot of free time. If you give them opening in academy, a big proportion of these people would like to study.
The rich men figured there must be some special secret.
Many of them go to study subjects that they dreamed on it when they were young people and missed it, and now they go and study it. They have an organization of volunteers to help lonely people.
כשאני באה לבקר אותך, מה זה עושה לך? יש לי למי לחכות, יש עם מי לדבר. איזה חמודה, את מרגשת אותי. אני ממש מחכה לך. את מקסימה. אני מקסימה פה מה זה. את מקסימה. את גורמת לי לדמעות. כן? כן. מרוב שאני רואה את השמחה שלך, אז את גורמת לי מלא התרגשות.
Therefore, when they come to election for the city council, they go into the city council.
The political key to that success is the fact that voters can vote directly for a pensioner party in the city council, not just a given candidate. Retiree voters can then focus their political strength on that pensioner party that caters to their interest.
In Israel, there's a proportional representation system where you vote for the party and not the person. And here in Canada, you vote for the person and then indirectly the party. What's the difference when it comes to advocating for pensioners?
I think it could help. It certainly would help Canadians to vote for platforms and have their voices heard and not be overwhelmed by the fact that one party might have a stronger ground game, that it really makes it very difficult for specific interests to find their way into political representation.
When we come back, pensioner parties on the offensive in Europe. Battling to protect pensioners with political muscle is developing in many democracies. Slovenia is an Eastern European country within the European Union. Stanko Grabnar is retired. He worked for 36 years as an electrician in the nuclear plant just outside of town. Stanko's pension and his family winery give him a comfortable life. He's also a regional activist of DESUS, the Democratic Pensioner Party of Slovenia. Stanko and his friends live on a state pension of $500 to $600 a month, supplemented by homegrown food and a job pension. While their pensions are not high, they are stable.
To je prva stvar. Če gledamo v tujini, Španiji, Italiji, so najprej, ko je bila kriza, finančna kriza, so najprej zmanjšali pokojnine. Pri nas ne. Pri nas Hvala Bogu tega ni bilo. Ne? To je naš cilj.
The 2008 Great Recession plunged Slovenia into serious debt. Like Italy, Greece, and Spain, the EU demanded the government cut costs to get loans. The first place they looked to cut were these retiree pensions. DeSUS blocked the cuts.
They have only one goal. Their goal is to ensure that pensions won't drop, or they will increase slowly in the time of economic crisis like right now. This is their only agenda. They are very successful. The promise for the future is very good, actually. We have 1,700,000 voters in Slovenia. 400,000 are older than 65. So the future for this party is bright. In year 2050, the voters who will be older than 65 will double. The number will double from now. So the demographic trends are going well for the DeSUS party.
Party leader and foreign minister Karl Erjavec is the mastermind behind DeSUS' success. He's visiting the town of Novo Mesto. In his early 50s, he's old enough to understand pensioners, but young enough to play hardball in political bargaining. Erjavec appealed to the Prime Minister and won his case.
The leader of the party is very pragmatic. He was a minister in the right-wing government and the left-wing government. He adjusts his decisions to the political environment. And when they see that the government is not so strong anymore, they usually leave the coalition, and then we have early fall of the government. It happened 2 or 3 times in the last 3 governments in Slovenia.
DeSUS has no pretenses. To safeguard pensioners and pensions, it will support any party that will serve their interests in a coalition government. But Slovenia's youth claim they are paying the price. Government belt-tightening and costly credit has cut jobs, not pensions. Unemployment among the youth reaches 25%.
The problem is now people who are older than 65, they have a representative, a political representative in parliament. But younger people who are the main victim of this crisis, which began in 2008, they don't have any such representative in the parliament or in the politics. It could cause tension between generations. It's a problem for younger generation, it's a problem for political stability, it's a problem for reforms which are necessary. If you look at it that way, then this party is something which is not so good for political system in Slovenia.
DeSUS Vice President Thomas Gunter does not accept the claim that youth unemployment is a trade-off for pricey pensions.
We are not protecting the high pensions, the highest pensions, but the pensioners who have the lowest pensions, we are talking about 300-400 euros, and you know in Slovenia there is a lot of pensioners with such pensions, so I don't think that this is a great conflict between young generation and the older one.
DeSUS ministers have a determined policy to stay in touch with average people especially pensioners. While the foreign minister was briefing the city dignitaries in Novo Mesto, the Desus Minister of Culture paid a visit to the new theater. Another minister inspects the town's new library. And Tomasz Gunter was discussing health policies with locals. He is the parliamentary chairman of Health Affairs.
We have a lot of problems in recent years in the healthcare system because the reason is the high number of non-communicable chronic diseases. I think this is the same problem in other countries too. And how to change the financing system of healthcare system. The government is preparing some kind of reform, and I think that's quite important that we work together in preparing this reform. As in other countries, it's the same. The older people is the part of population who needs mostly the healthcare system, but it's important for all of us.
More than 20 years ago, the streets of the capital, Ljubljana, were scenes of confrontation as Slovenia separated from communist Yugoslavia. Many of the current pensioners were involved in that struggle for independence.
People who are older than 65, they lived in a different system. They lived in a socialist system. I think this is the main cause of the success of the Pensioners' Party in Balkans. They remember old times when the jobs were secure and the pensions were secure. And right now they are afraid. It's an open market. It's a terrible crisis. And that's why they vote for the Pensioners' Party, because it ensures them that their pensions will be secure.
I don't think so. Because socialism or communism or whatever we talk about, but no, we are talking about social rights, and that's quite different from socialism. So I'm sure that this is not the reason why we have a lot of members and a lot of confidence in this society.
In neighboring Croatia, the fight against Yugoslavia was much more bloody. The war took a bigger toll on the economy. Pensioners paid a traumatic price. The HSU is the Croatian Pensioner Party. It has only 4.1% of the vote and 4 seats in parliament, but it strongly advocates on behalf of pensioners who had lost much to political upheaval.
I sama stranka je nastala 1996. kada je vlada smanjila 40% mirovina, međutim nije promijenila zakon. Kada je uvedena mirovinska reforma po modelu Svjetske banke, koja je generirala veliki broj nejednakosti među umirovljenicima i to svake godine kako su odlazili u mirovinu, mirovina im je bila manja. I time smo se bavili ovih 13 godina, odnosno ispravljanjem tih nepravdi koje su učinjene hrvatskim umirovljenicima.
Both Croats and Slovenian pensioners face one glaring common problem. Due to the high unemployment, less and less people of working age are remaining in the country.
U ovom trenutku je to vrlo dramatično. Mi imamo 1,14 radnika na jednog umirovljenika. Gotovo da su nam se izjednačio broj radnika i umirovljenika i ono što radnici daju svoje doprinose za mirovinu nije dostatno za isplatu mirovina, pa se mora iz ostalih sredstava, poreznih sredstava u proračunu uzimati sredstva za isplatu mirovina. A tu bez političkog djelovanja teško da bi se moglo toliko zahvaćati koliko se sada zahvaća u državni proračun.
Next, pensioner parties or pensioner lobbies. What is more effective to protect retirees? Israeli pensioner politics succeeded on the municipal front, but not at the national level.
Most of the people don't vote for the political party of senior citizens. Why? It's a fact that you have today political parties in 15 countries. and only 2 of them have representations in their parliament.
Rafi Eitan believes retiree associations like Canada's CARP and the American AARP are the way to move forward.
To help a movement, a community, but not a political party. And I'm sure that we are going to succeed on that.
Its achievement will be better, and people can identify with a movement even if they are from the left wing or the right wing, better than to vote for such a party.
You already know that CARP is Canada's largest organization for Zoomers.
CARP is just such an association. CARP mobilizes and channels strong retiree voter turnout to parties that offer tangible results for pensioners.
This is a group of voters that, first of all, votes all the time. Secondly, they will vote their issues. And indeed, over the age of 60, at least over 60% turnout. And as you move higher, it's about 70% turnout. So there's a heavy weighting among turnout among older voters. And when you look at it from that perspective, a politician has to realize that they can't pull the wool over our eyes.
You know that CARP is a powerful and successful advocate for policies to protect the rights and needs of Canadians as we age.
One of the biggest challenges for us is indeed to have parties focus on issues of importance to older Canadians, but in fact we've also been very successful. For example, in the Ontario election, we just had a party that got re-elected now with a majority, and one of the major planks in their re-election platform was the creation of an Ontario pension plan, something that CARP has been asking for the last 5 years.
While the Ontario Pension Supplement is a tactical victory, a strategic win would be significantly raising the CPP, the Canadian Pension Plan. Recognizing that voting power, the Liberal Party leader Justin Trudeau makes a point of addressing CARP conferences and voters,
Thank you so much.
accentuating his support for enhancing the CPP.
Provinces like Ontario continue to say that a strengthened national system of retirement security is the best option. Well, under my leadership, they will get it. As Prime Minister, I would work with the provinces and territories, with workers, with employers, and with organizations like CARP to enhance the Canada Pension Plan.
At CARP gatherings, the question is often raised as to whether it should take more direct action, even possibly establishing a pensioner party.
We have the numbers, we have the money, we have the influence, and we just need to organize ourselves in a more effective way.
You could have your own pensioner party. The trouble is that where they exist, for example, in Netherlands, one of the concerns there is that they're regarded as selfish and self-interested and entitled. That we built the country so we deserve our entitlements. And that actually has some backlash here in Canada.
But in Slovenia and Croatia, where pensioner parties have succeeded, they believe only a retiree party in parliament can make a difference. They tried pensioner associations and they failed.
Jer bilo je pokušaja prije formiranja stranke da se na jedan lobistički način riješe problemi, ali to jednostavno nije išlo. I da pokušate onim najjačim oružjem, a to je brojem ruku u parlamentu, utjecati na politike.
Whether it's associations or political parties, pensioner activism is paying off. Slovenian pensioners have managed to keep their pension rate despite efforts by the government to cut them. CARP has helped generate a supplemental Ontario pension plan. And Israel's finance minister at the time, Yair Lapid, approved an annual $280 million emergency pension and medical supplement for Holocaust survivors.
I don't think somebody who went through Auschwitz or Mauthausen or Dachau needs to make the choice. They made enough terrible choices for 3 lifetimes. They don't need to make the choice between medicine or food. So we're giving them now the free medicine, and if necessary, we're giving them the food as well. In January, February 1945, my father was a 13-year-old child who lived in Budapest ghetto. One morning, the Germans, along with the Hungarian fascists, started taking the Jews in death convoys, and they took them to the Danube River. A Russian airplane lowered for a second over the convoy. The Hungarians and the Germans were shooting into the sky, and the people were yelling and screaming and running around. And there was a small public lavatory painted in green in the street. My grandmother pushed my father into this lavatory, and she said, "You have to pee now." Then she closed the door behind them both, and the convoy left without them. And 10 minutes later, from this convoy of 600 people, 598 were dead under the ice of the Danube River. But my father and my grandmother were standing there, and they were free. Think of all those people who didn't have a place to go to and came here. We have an obligation to them. They need to know that they have this place to go to, and in this place, when they're 80 and 90, somebody will take care of them. I will tell them, we know you paid a very heavy price twice. Once there and once here. But at least the price you paid here is to the benefit of your children and grandchildren. So yes, it might be late. Yes, the country should have done this a long time ago. But then again, it's better that we're doing it now than not doing it at all.